What's up, yeah? Xande, thanks so much for the support from BJJ Eastern Europe. You guys rock it. You know, a lot of good articles, a lot of things that people want to say but usually don't. So good job, brother. Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, they work perfect together, you know, because they, even though they have the same uniform and stuff, the idea and the mindset is different. Judo is very explosive, very grip oriented. Whoever gets the best grip wins. Jiu-Jitsu, that might not be the reality, you know, it's a little slower game with longer rounds. I had the chance to really do only judo as a martial art when I was younger, so I always had that in my blood, you know, and I think you have to make sure you understand how to schedule your phases of training. You know, probably after a competition, it is important for you to give yourself a good time for it. You know, there's times that I go to judo every day, you know, just to kind of like step up that game and get that one going on. So pretty much as I come close to a jiu-jitsu competition, I will slow down and I keep that maybe for twice a week. You know, because I think conditionally wise and technically wise, it's a perfect combination for jiu-jitsu. I can count many tournaments that my conditioning training was trained judo, you know, because there's a lot of uchikomi, a lot of like technique is really involved. You're standing up all the time, you have to be aggressive, you have to be explosive. And my advice would be taking a season to really learn, to go every day, be sore and understand. And once you have that season going, and you can come back to jiu-jitsu and kind of periodize a little more, and maybe go 3 times a week, 2 times a week until you focus only in jiu-jitsu, you know. And I think that's a good way to explain that. You know, it's like when you want to learn how to surf. You know, you can't go twice a week surfing and expect to learn. You have to put yourself, okay, for this next 10, 15 days, I'm gonna go every day learning, and that's the way you do it. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. You can't go and learn jiu-jitsu twice a week or once a week. It's always gonna, it's kind of like you do 3 steps forward and 4 steps back. So if you really want to step up judo game, you have to go and understand and respect and understand the sport as it is, and not try to learn it broken. You know, I think once you reach a certain level, you're able to adapt yourself the specific techniques from judo to jiu-jitsu, and that's what I did. I think we should take the advantage out. That for sure would help. I remember back in the day when I started jiu-jitsu, there was no advantages, and there was something called combatividade, like combative, and the only thing they would actually judge your intention of submission, you know. And the advantage is something very unfair. I think advantages are very unfair because sometimes the guy sleep, touch his butt on the floor, you get an advantage, and it's the same value of super arm lock, like that's being, you know, the guy is almost tapped. So it's a very unfair rule. What I believe is the advantages, you know, and I think it would make the job of the referees much easier, because then take the subjective point of the rule. Talking more about nowadays, I think the whole double guard pull, you know, being punished if you don't come up, is a good rule. We've seen way less double guard pull, and I think anything from the 50-50 should not count anything. You know, I don't think should be advantage. I don't think should be points. I think, you know what I mean, I think you should go in and go out. I don't think anything from the 50-50 would work a point at all. You know, you see, like, for example, a real example, the Guilherme Mendes and Miao fight is pretty much like this. You can't really judge if a submission is being held on, you know, like in a footlock, for example. So you see like Guilherme making faces, Miao making faces, but none of them are really getting caught. But it is a submission there, you know. So it's really hard, and then you can see a fight develop inside that situation. So I think 50-50 should only count anything if you get out of it. If you sweep the guy and come back, it's nothing. I think that's my opinion. Should be an advantage for anything. Should only be points if the guy gets out of it. That's how I feel about it. And I think if those three things would really help a lot. I think taking the advantage out, that would help. If anything happens in the 50-50, it would not mean anything unless you get out of it. I think there will be two major things to happen. And I believe too the main thing would be give the voice to the athletes. They change the rules that they want. They have a refereeing commission that has no communication with anybody, really, And I think the BJJF should name the counselor that they want to be to counsel them, and make that vote count, And that's how I think should be. They should go, okay, how many academies, and these are the people that are gonna have the voice, and have these people deciding. And I think that would be very fair. And that's the only way to change and make things more entertaining. Like back in the day, it was a little different, but I think today it's fine. We don't tell our students, oh, don't go to this gym. I think the exchange of technique and knowledge in jiu-jitsu is very important. But I believe you must have the loyalty to your flag. I tell my students, you go to another school, you know where you're coming from, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Today I don't really, if you're not satisfied, sometimes what happens is, it's like the difference you buy in Hugo Boss and you buy Louis Vuitton. Sometimes a Louis Vuitton shirt doesn't fit well on you, so you buy a Hugo Boss. And I think jiu-jitsu is to make people better in the environment they choose to be. And if it's something very, if it's authentic, if the person is real and they believe that the different environment is better for them, be it. I think the only thing I don't want people to be creonte for is to live in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? That's what would make me feel very mad. If someone, oh, I want to quit jiu-jitsu because I don't like jiu-jitsu. That's, for me, is worse than, hey, Xande, I think that school is better for me. I want people to be happy. Again, it's family. Like I said, if they have to be more comfortable with something else, it's okay. It's just like a relationship, It has to be good for both. We believe that we have an environment that's good for everybody, but some people are seeking something else. Sometimes, a lot of times, you're seeking for something. You know what I mean? That you think you can find somewhere, but you don't. And then you go seek somewhere else, which is fine. Because we want people that want to be with us 100%, no matter what, in our deficiencies, in our greatness, and that's are the people that we want around us. Now, when a guy is created by you and just put other values in front of it, and that's a creonte. A guy that you gave him your heart, you fed him, you put him in your house, and just because he thinks he's gonna have a better opportunity somewhere else, that might be a little different. Just the way things happen. We had people that came to us, we had people that left us, and we had all situations. We had people that say, hey, man, I'm leaving to this place, or not Ribeiro, I'm sorry, And there's people that just say, well, I have a better opportunity there, or we had people that say, you never done anything for me. So those are the real creontes, the one that look back and don't appreciate what you've done. I think that's a creonte. But, like I said, I want everybody to be happy. If someone comes in and I build them into the black belt and they leave me, just don't expect me to be all nice to you. That's all, because once you leave my family, you left the family. I'll really, cheer for your success. But once you leave those walls, you're on the other side of the fence. And if you have to be choked, you'll be choked. I think it depends a lot on the circumstances. I had students that left because they left like the city, and they went to a different city. There was no Ribeiro there. They ended up joining another school, and they became, black belts in other schools. That's fine. But when someone leaves you just because they say, oh, you didn't do this for me, you didn't do that for me, and that's the real creonte. Um, in my case, like to tell the truth, I moved to America and I never really taught jiu-jitsu. So in 2002, when I moved to Ohio, I never really had experience really running an academy, and and it was my first years as a black belt. So it was kind of like a mix between both. So that way I was proven that really try to be competitive and run a business is really hard. So I pretty much, in 4 years I was there, I pretty much just built the academy for my own really training, you know. So I built all my students from white belts all the way to black belts today, and it's really hard, you know. It's not an easy task, but if you have a group of people that really focus on helping you, and then maybe your task will be a little easier, you know. I'll give an example right now into our organization, Lovato. You know, he still competes very actively, and he runs a really big academy, and he competes like the circuit. You know, he's not a guy that competes once in a while. Like I compete just big tournaments, same as my brother, just events, and you need to have a crew of like 10, 15 people working for you. You know, because every day it's cleaning bathrooms, getting students, calling students, running good classes, getting phones, selling contracts, dealing with membership. So it's a lot of work. So compete and running a business doesn't work together unless you have a really group of people that are really willing to work for you. Otherwise, it's not going to work. I struggle with like maybe 40 students at that gym, and then once I moved away and my partner took over, and then he was doing that full time, and now he has over 150 students. So name and things like that, that helps, but the work has to be done, and definitely it's not something you should, you know, especially if you want to compete in the highest level. It's really hard to maintain both. One of both going to be unsuccessful, and usually if you really focus on competition, your school it's gonna stay there. I believe we're gonna have a good amount of people, but I don't believe it's gonna reach the ultimate goal, which is 200, 300 plus numbers. No, I've never. No, of course, when you're a kid, 10 years old, 8 years old, you're always scrapping with your friends, and I have always been blessed to be protected by God's will not to be in a fight. You know, I don't know if He protected me because I could hurt somebody or I could hurt myself. I'm really blessed to really say and brag that my first fight was in the ring. The first time I actually looked at a dude in the face and wanted to really punch him really hard was in a professional mixed martial arts fight. And Jiu-Jitsu gave me the strength and the energy to keep any trouble away. You know, and I never ran for a fight. You know, I've seen, you know, people fight in front of me and I never run from it. But, you know, some people, they like fighting, so they'll see a fight breaking up, they just go in it. You know, and especially because of my hometown, I knew everybody, so I was kind of like the ambassador of everybody. So a lot of times I would see friends fighting friends, so I would actually catch myself in the middle of it, try to break it up, or just say, you know, you guys are men, just deal with it, you know. And but thank God I never really got into a situation that I had to punch someone and really go into a fight altercation. I'm really, really glad that that never happened. Well, just a little brief story, Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu. Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu was established in 1995, which was when my older brother, got his black belt. So that's when the Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu, we consider that's our family, you know. And I think that right there says everything. It's about family. You know, the difference between Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu is that me and my brother, we have our differences, but there's one thing we never forgot, is the family. You know, there's no business, there's no jiu-jitsu, there's no medal, there's no nothing that we give more value than a family standards. And we carried that into the mat, you know. And, you know, jiu-jitsu has grown so much because I think in jiu-jitsu today, everybody's is doing business, doing this and that, and changing academies like you change clothes, you know. And for us, it's about family, you know. It's about environment. It's about having the best jiu-jitsu in the world. Speaking of best jiu-jitsu, we both have the best jiu-jitsu in the world. It's simple, it's efficient, anyone can do it, you know. And that's why we're having a lot of people looking for us, because We have a straightforward attitude. My brother is very intense. I'm more of the people guy, and we complement each other. And I think in Jiu-Jitsu we're missing a lot of that. And of course, I think me and him being the most accomplished brothers in the world helps too. But we take our family, which is our Jiu-Jitsu, our blood, everything we pray in our lives, we bring to the mats. And I think it's real, and I think that's the difference. You know, we don't buy standards, we don't create standards. It's just about family. And then what we learn in our home, we take that to the mats, you know, and combine that with technique. We keep it simple, we keep it real, and that's our difference, you know. And I think that there are a lot of schools that they're looking forward to please and to adapt into business society, and I don't think that's not our standard. Our standard is to create people and to come and get yourself better, even if the cost to get better is a little whip in the back, you know. And because when you're growing up, your parents have to slap you a little bit for you to learn something, and we keep that way, you know. We're very old school. We respect our hierarchy, the people that came before us, like Maeda, Carlos, Helio, Hoyler. So we keep those values, and I think that's what we based on. Even before business, cost, what to do or not to do, come values, and we really praise that. We keep that alive, and once we join our family. That's why we're different than everybody else. Well, BJJ Library first is made from Jiu-Jitsu to Jiu-Jitsu. You know, it's not Saulo and Xande gift the world. It's Jiu-Jitsu. We use our knowledge to bring the right people to you, and that's what we try to do. You know, the BJJ Library, it's a place where everyone can find themselves. You know, you're not gonna find just Saulo and Xande's game. You're gonna find Clark Grace's game. You're gonna find Lovato's game, Pagani's game, Telly's game, Dean Lisa's game. You know, so what we did different than everybody else, we used our ability to integrate people and to bring them to you. And I think that's the difference that we want to do with BJJ Library. You know, we always thinking for new stuff. We always thinking for things that we might not be able to give to you guys, to deliver, you know. And like we say, it's a library. It belongs to Jiu-Jitsu, and that's what we want with BJJ Library. We want to build the biggest and most different, and that we can reach out to anyone in the world. You know, we're not there to impress. We just want to teach what is effective, what works, and of course we please the fans too. You know, you have great guys coming in, Jeff Glover, Leandro Lowe, Roberto Gordo. We have Gordo, the creator of Half Guard. We have Ricardo De La Riva, the creator of De La Riva. We have Teles, the creator of the Turtle Guard. We have Saulo, the biggest masher. We have Xande, the great guard. We have Lovato, which is the new breed between Saulo and Xande. We have Leandro Lowe. We have Clark Grace with the omoplatas. So you'll find anything, and then there's no other place in the world you're gonna find that. And I think that's the difference of BJJ Library. It's what the Ribeiro brothers were able to gather and use their influence to bring to you. Is pretty much the best, and that's how I see BJJ Library today. Well, right now I'm working as ambassador of Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu and Jiu-Jitsu. I pretty much just being a world traveler right now, just going all different places in the world and teaching the real Jiu-Jitsu and teaching our methodology to people, bring Jiu-Jitsu to anywhere in the world. You know, me as a world champion, as a Hall of Famer, I have no problem digging the dirt and have to go places that there's no money, there's no, you know, really potential financial. But I think if there's someone wearing a gi and representing, and that's what I wanted to accomplish, you know. And as for myself, I'm coming from an injury, and next year we have Abu Dhabi, so that's pretty much what I'm focused on. You know, I want to win the ADCC. I think the World Championships is something that, you know, I've done so many times, and I'd be hurt, I've won, I've done what I had to do. I'm already a Hall of Famer. So I don't think there's nothing else I have to prove wearing the kimono. But ADCC is something that I really want to go and do it again. It's going to be my hometown. It's going to be in Brazil. And that's definitely something I'm looking forward. Now I'm really working my way up. I'm gaining weight little by little, you know, to make sure, because usually we try to gain a lot of weight in a short period of time, we end up becoming slow. So I'm working on my conditioning, I'm working on getting stronger, healthier, and I want to be free of injuries. I'm working for great physiotherapists that's working on my posture, on the way my body function, and that's something that I had never done in my life. You know, I always treated my injuries isolated. Now I'm treating my body as a whole, and it's really worked very well for me. My posture is better, my pain is gone, and it's about going to Abu Dhabi and be physical and grind and take that absolute, because I've hit the post a few times and now it's time to take it as mine.